and more participants will join because I know the timing is a little off for some people as we progress. Um, Again, thank you, Mr. Memin. Thank you, Just Kaju. Thank you, Mr. Kapil Kak. We have, I think we have Sajad Azhar from Pakistan. We have people all over the world from Germany, US, India. But let me kind of introduce you briefly to the concept of Ibaadatkhana. The Ibaadatkhana movement is a result of collective effort of conscious individuals inspired by humanity and secularism and is geared towards upholding the dignity of people of all religions and races. Our guiding principle is based on our conviction that democracy is the best known form of government to promote peace and prosperity, and the state should be governed by the rule of law. Our goal is to achieve multi-religious, multi-ethnic, and prosperous secular fabric in the Indian subcontinent. The core principles of Ibaadatkhana are foster peaceful, just, and inclusive society free from fear and violence, formulate social policies that foster secure, just, free, and harmonious societies, build and strengthen public institutions for social development, promote the ideology, society for all, work towards development of all sections of society and religion. With that, I want to kind of do a brief introduction about like our, this topic tonight. I'll start with a quote from Karen Armstrong. She's a very famous author in the West, if you have not heard of her. She quotes, all religions are designed to teach us how to live joyfully, serenely, and kindly in the midst of suffering. So the Treaty of Westphalia was signed in 1648 that brought an end to religious strifes and dark age in Europe. And its right-wing populism, racial and religious intolerance is increasing globally by the day, adding us versus them narrative. It has been now 372 years exactly today since the treaty was signed and the religious conflict ended in Europe. But the religious and racial divide is only growing in the Indian subcontinent. India is a multiracial and multi-religious country and has had a policy to treat all ethnic groups and religions equally. The Indian Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, and the state's official policy has been to treat all religions equally. For the last several decades, the state did provide its citizens the right to retain their culture, language, and receive equal treatment. However, that narrative has been changing in the last several years. Although India is officially a religiously neutral state, lately it has been heavily involved in management of religion, along with the management of other rights, such as freedom of speech. The diversifications relating to free speech and religion demonstrate a shift from using laws to settle issues at the local level in a relatively homogeneous settings to religious rhetoric and right-wing extremism, which are becoming more common in that region. The recent polarization based on caste and color only promote feelings of ill will and hostility between different races or classes of the population. With 22 major languages in India, recent years have seen a major drive to impose one language across the country. Instead of preserving and promoting local languages, efforts have been made to undermine them. English is still the main language, which is taught in all universities, and this has given India a huge edge over other developing countries. It's only because English has been the primary language for higher academic pursuits. Most of the executives and software engineers in the US and around the world are thriving. Also, India has the largest film industry in the world and is known for beautiful poems and poetry, which is mostly in Urdu. Urdu is a syncretic language which has evolved due to fusion of multiple languages in India over a period of time. The rich literature and legacy this language provides us is one of the biggest reasons why Urdu is the language of choice for the Indian film industry. How will it sound if I were to translate a beautiful couplet of Ghalib to Hindi? I know there are some people who don't speak Hindi, but I need to recite this poem of Ghalib. Ki mere qatl ke baad usne jafa se toba, hai us zood pashema ka pashema hona. If I were to translate it into Hindi, it will sound like this. उसने मेरी हत्या के बाद पछतावा किया, हालांकि वह तेजी से पछतावा करते थे, उसका पछतावा क्या अच्छा था, right? There is a thing that doesn't rhyme.
That's so funny.
So religion is the final frontier of personal prejudice, with attitudes to faith driving negative perceptions more than ethnicity or nationality. At Ibaadatkhana, we embrace and encourage mutual understanding of other religions, culture, and languages. Ibaadatkhana promotes religious harmony to create a strong legal infrastructure to prosecute those who attempt to disrupt um, the delicate racial and religious stability. Furthermore, we believe education is a key strategy in maintaining peaceful reactions between different religions and ethnic communities. Government run schools, which the majority of Indian citizens attend, must emphasize on racial and religious harmony. The first generation immigrants from South Asia, especially from the Indian subcontinent, who live in US and usually become more passionate about nationality they had given up versus the people who still live in these countries. And the reason I bring it up because there is a growing uh, you know, the right-wing populism in the United States. And most of the immigrants have acquired citizens in this newfound homeland, yet they long for the land of birth. And nothing wrong with that. They enjoy a luxurious lifestyle that the society brings to them. Many left the countries of origin to escape poverty, unemployment, insecurity, corruption, and nepotism. However, these immigrants who are enjoying the fine life of the first world indulge in politics of hate and religious bigotry. Yet same biased politics is not acceptable to them in the first world where they live if it was applied to them. Oblivious of the suffering that this such divisive politics may cause, such folks who are incognizant and unmindful of the sufferings of the fellow human beings they left behind in the third world is disgraceful. Delusional of being secular and liberal, they continue practicing religious bigotry. We at Ibaadatkhana condemn such deceitful politics, which must be rejected in its entirety. The harmony between the different ethnic and religious groups is fragile and must be fiercely protected, as any racial strife could have a potential to tear the country apart. With that, I'll end my long speech and hand it over to Ms.